PJ Barch isn't your typical 10th planet athlete, okay? He likes to wrestle and he likes the top position and he likes to not use the rubber guard, all right? He goes in there and raw dogs it with wrestling, top pressure, and great Kimura traps and great rear naked choke finishes. But that's not what we're going to cover today. Today we're going to cover his leg lock counter offense. This first aspect of PJ's leg lock counter offense that makes it great is his giant freaking balls, okay? Check out this position Ian O'Flanagan gets him into, all right? Here, I'll pause it and break it down to where Ian initially gets him into, all right? This spot has many names, none of which sound very good. One of which John Thorpe Blank calls the career ender. Some people call it game over. That's because when you're in this position, typically you get your knee obliterated and blown apart and there's no way to defend it. Yet somehow Butter Panther, buttery panthery smoothly, gets out of this position and counters the leg lock. So let's break it down. As you can see here, as Ian locks up the heel hook grip and bellies down on it, we see that Butter Panther is able to create some space with his left hand and get his secondary leg out of the way in order to roll and alleviate some of that pressure on that heel hook that Ian generates. Now they are in standard Ashigarami. PJ straightens his leg to defend the heel hook and to defend the straight ankle lock by putting the boot on. Throws his secondary leg, his left leg, over the top in order to feed it through for an inside heel hook position, as Ian is at the same time trying to dig for the heel. We got ourselves a classic leg lock shootout. And as so, PJ turns and fully inverts into 50-50 here, and now is going for the double 50-50, or to track that secondary leg and put his foot behind it. As you can see, he sneaks it across there and makes it a devastating belly down inside heel hook finish from 50-50. In this clip, we see PJ counter a K-guard entry by Espen Matheson here. PJ backsteps. Espen does a good job preventing it for a little bit, but as soon as PJ comes over, he digs for the heel in 50-50 and immediately hops on it. That's what makes PJ good in 50-50, I believe. His ability to go with the flow of the 50-50 attack and get there and be there first for the attack and attack the heel before the opponent. Because ultimately in 50-50, it's whoever gets to the bite on the ankle first. Once again, his opponent enters the 50-50 position. PJ does a good job throwing his secondary leg up to protect his leg, and he's immediately looking for the heel before his opponent can. Again, here he is with Chris Wojcik, another great leg locker, and he's able to just beat Chris to the punch here and get back on that heel before Chris can defend. Here again, once more at the PGF against Cam Hurd here. Cam is looking for leg entanglements. PJ pulls him into 50-50 and beats him to the punch. Now, PJ is a bit of a troll, and here he is hitting another troll move, and once again showing that gigantic balls. He's leaving his leg in the outside heel hook, somehow is comfortable allowing this Chad Elijah Dorsey to just crank on his leg, and just smiling in the process while Elijah Dorsey cranks on his leg. Upon closer inspection, we see that there's not a great wedge for Elijah's knees in order to keep PJ from turning, and PJ creates a little bit of space with his left hand on the feet, which allows his knees some wiggle room and not have his knees shattered. He switches left to right hand and feeds the left hand through on the other leg like you would in 50-50, and he feeds it and breaks the grip into his armpit. Now, in most leg entanglements, you want to have a closed loop on the upper part of the knee, above the knee, in order to keep that in place so you can do a rotational hip in finish and break the knee. However, in this Junie lock, PJ doesn't have a leg configuration above the knee at the hip line in order to keep his opponent's hips stable. But what he does do is fall back and staple Elijah Dorsey's hips to the mat, therefore not allowing Elijah to wiggle or move away, thus making this Junie lock absolutely devastating.